challenge it in a way. If you look at positively, it's not an easy thing to do. Having been an angel investor for over 10 years now, read and understood and followed startup policies from Kerala to Karnataka to Telangana and Andhra, Gujarat, Delhi, and formulated Rajasthan startup policy. I feel the startup policy man here is totally lacking the teeth. It is so cumbersome and lacks execution and vision, and it needs to be redone, and maybe under the industries department and not under the IT department. Because I personally feel that, while employment is very important, and I understand that. I understand local people need to be employed more than people who come from outside. But as a startup, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, we don't hire people because they'll get 15,000 rupees per employee per month subsidy. I hire a person and pay him or her twice as much if she can deliver what I want, or if the tech is better, if her experience is better. So it's not about subsidy at all. I think it's two things that startups need money on, and that's what the startup policies across India should have. One is, of course, the proof of concept, the idea stage, to get the prototype done, because we don't invest at that stage. They need grants of 5, 10, 15 lakhs depending on the sector, whether it's biotech, whether it's agri-tech, whether it's drones, whether it's IoT devices, whatever they're doing. The company has to be registered in Goa. I can't be registered in Bangalore and taking money from you. So once I have my GST and my PAN card and everything is registered here, I should get a grant to do a proof of concept. And then I don't need any money. Then you need to co-invest with accredited angel investors. Now, whether that angel investor is coming from Bombay and investing in a Goa company, or from Delhi, or a Goa angel investing in Goa, that co-investment on similar terms is what you need, and you will get ROIs much better than anyone else. Those are the two simple things. Employees, local people will get jobs. Initially I will bring team from outside. I will bring a tech team from wherever I want to bring. But eventually, when my team of 20, 30, 40, 400 people stays in Goa, they go out and eat, they rent apartments, they live, they buy cars. The government gets so much of money from the direct and indirect taxes. That money can go in skill upgradation, that money can go in regenerating employment for local people and upgrading the skills. It is a bad idea and then file cumbersome things to, this person is employed, 10 people, give me 50. It's a very complicated project. I think it's not needed, in my opinion. So that's my suggestion. The startup policy needs to totally change. The other reason is, obviously, the startup policy of Goa exists. We in India don't even know it exists. I had to come yesterday, look for it, read through it. I could not open the portal. So thank you for sending me the PDFs, which I could read through. So if the portal is not, if the IT policies portal is not opening, there's definitely something wrong with the IT department, man. And that's how bad it is, and that's how bad it was last night. And so the PDF I read through, local employment will happen. I think there's nothing wrong with it. All we need is, and you don't need to invest in incubation centers and accelerator. Man, the colleges, AIC, NITI, they have so much money. The state governments don't need to invest in that, and private sector, co-working spaces, incubation centers, all of them. Goa is the best positioned place away from tourist spots that you can create IT infrastructure. Companies can get headquartered here. The business model of Delaware, where every headquarter is there and you get all the income tax benefits because the company's headquarters is all that you need. You don't need to have 10,000 people in Googles of the world coming and setting up units and ruining the environment here. Goa is positioned to be a haven where companies can be headquartered, core teams sitting here, and you benefiting from the tech. It's very simple, it's not a complicated thing, and I think Goa is most well positioned, and PPP model with private sector, colleges, universities, investing in incubation, exploration, skill upgradation. Government does not just infrastructure, roads, approvals that are needed, obviously, from environment is all that you need, and fund of funds. In my personal opinion, and I was telling someone, if I had to choose between Bangalore and Goa, I would come to Goa. If I had to choose between any other 10 top cities, I would come to Goa and sit here and invest across India and set up my fund. It's just that we need to have the right environment, the right infrastructure, and the right policy, long-term policy. I mean, this policy I was reading, ironically, 2025, you want to be the top 25 startup ecosystems of Asia. I mean, trust me, we're far away from being India. The 80,000 startups registered, we're less than 1,000 here. Something is definitely not right. I mean, and I hope that this thing gets across to the policymakers, and startups are future. I mean, the Honorable Prime Minister and the entire focus since 2015 has been on startups. Service sector exports, IT technology exports. These are the things that are growing double-digit, not manufacturing, not other stuff. And while we want to be environment conscious and SDG compliant, which is very, very important, we're not trying to take that away, but we need to focus on the service and IT and tech services. So that's my suggestion. I would be happy to look at startups and invest in Goa to make a beginning, but again, Abhishek's of Goa, you need to co-invest with me because you need to line manage it. You know, we can't sit in Jaipur or anywhere else and come and micromanage the startup. So mentoring at early stage is very critical. So to the private sector, on the investors in my session later on, you really need to co-invest with outside investors, because outsiders can only invest if the local ecosystem invests. And so the private sector needs to be very, very proactive, and that's where your role is very, very critical to get the right angels. And as far as organizations are concerned, when TiE is totally, it's a global organization. We don't have a Goa chapter. I've led it globally. We can create a chapter here. All we need is the right 10, 15 right angel investors. And we have from schools, colleges, women entrepreneurship, and angel programs across the board, which handholds, and Prali here is from TiE Ahmedabad, and so we can actually execute and take and it is not competing with CIIs and FICCIs of the world. It's basically working in collaboration. Angel investment or tech investment is the only investment that no one competes. We all collaborate. If I'm investing 1 crore, you want to invest, we'll do 50 lakhs, because more the merrier. This is the only sector where there's no competition between organizations or investors. So it's basically creating a platform where we can all collaborate. So between the government and the private sector, I think Goa has a great potential. I see it. I've been coming here for the last 2-3 years since GIM hosted us for the Horses Stable Shoot 2 years ago now. And then after that, and many summits have happened here. And I personally feel that we are underutilizing our resources. With that, I wish everyone the very best. Thank you for having me here. Sorry.